أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإذ فرقنا بكم البحر فأنجيناكم وأغرقنا آل فرعون وأنتم تنظرون. Earlier verse spoken about Pharaoh and his trial that he did for his community. Now Allah in the next verse speaks about how Allah dealt with this Pharaoh. Allah said, وإذ فرقنا فرق உருது में बोलेंगे ना फरक का तो differentiate. So that is one, or we can say it like parted because this is dealing with sea. Then when we parted, be for you, you should not write it as with, but you should write it like for. We parted for you. Bahar means sea. Then, and when we parted for you the sea, this we all know how Musa alayhi salam got escaped from Pharaoh. That incident Allah is quoting out here. And when we parted for you the sea, then we najjaina means save. So we saved you. You refers to Bani Israel. You refers to wa agrakna is gharak means drowning, and we drowned. We refers to Allah himself. Ala Firaun, family of Firaun, wa antum tanzurun, while you, nazar means seeing, while you are seeing. மேலும் எப்பொழுது நாம் பிளந்தோம், பிளந்த போது உங்களுக்காக, பிக்கும் you should write it like உங்களுக்காக கடலை see, and we saved you, மேலும் நாம் பாதுகாத்தோம் உங்களை, அப்படி சொல்லலாம். இல்லாட்டி பெஸ்ட் வே இஸ் காப்பாற்றினோம். Otherwise, if Allah's help was not there, then they would have been drowned in the sea. But Allah's help came at the last minute. And வாகரக்னா மேலும் நாம் மூழ்கடித்தோம் ஃபிரௌனின் குடும்பத்தாரை நீங்கள் பார்த்து கொண்டிருந்த நிலையில். வைஸ் வாதனா, then what happened? Pharaoh has died now. Now what is the role of Musa alayhi salam? All this time Musa alayhi salam was fighting with Pharaoh to save Bani Israel from Pharaoh. That has happened now. So a new task come to Musa alayhi salam now. This task is much different from what he was doing all these years. And he says, "Wais vadana." Vada means promise. So we promised for Musa alayhi salam. Now comes Musa alayhi salam into picture. Musa alayhi salam's history comes umpty number of times in the Quran, and Surah Al-Baqarah also. He occupies a bigger portion. And when we promised Musa alayhi salam, arba'ina means 40 days. Layla, Laylatul Qadr, that night, which means night. So மேலும் எப்பொழுது நாம் வாக்களித்தோம் மூசா அலைஹிஸ்ஸலாமிற்கு 40 இரவுகளை, பிறகு நீர் எடுத்துக்கொண்டீர், you have taken. Him refers to Musa alayhi salam. Attakhadha is taking. Izla means calf. It is not cow, it is calf. I mean little lesser. Kale kandrai. You refers to Bani Israel. Mim badihi, from bada is after him. Wa antum zalimun, while you are zalimun, wrongdoers. You find, tell me, the last verse was ending with like antum tanzurun. That was also referring to Bani Israel. பார்த்துக்கிட்டே இருந்தீங்க நீங்க சொன்னால திடீர்னு அவங்கள பார்த்து என்ன சொல்றாங்க, நீங்க எல்லாரும் அநியாயக்காரங்க ஆயிட்டீங்க. இப்பதான் அல்லாஹ்வுடைய ஃபைதா உங்களுக்கு கிடைச்சிருக்கு. Allah has helped you from a bigger danger of death, calamity, and has saved you from the hands of Pharaoh. But immediately what you are giving back to Allah, you have taken calf, worshipping calf, idiom. Even today, the hot topic of worshipping calf, it occupies the major part of the surah itself. There are governments being run only to save the worship of calf. And when we மேலும் எப்பொழுது வாக்களித்தோம் மூசா அலைஹிஸ்ஸலாமிற்கு 40 இரவுகளை, பிறகு நீங்கள் எடுத்துக்கொண்டீர்கள் காளை கன்றை, கடவுளா, from after him, அவருக்கு பிறகு எடுத்துக்கொண்டீர்கள் காளை கன்றை, அவருக்கு பின்னால் நீங்கள் இருக்கும் நிலையில் அநியாயக்காரர்களாக. Then again Allah what he did, the same like we keep making mistake, Allah keeps forgiving us. In the same way here, Allah first spoken about a favor that Allah did to the Bani Israel just by saving them from Pharaoh and saving him from drowning into the sea. On a contrary, they should have been subservient to Allah, but they made a bigger mistake by taking calf as for worshipping. Now the argument comes to Allah himself. What Allah did? Summa fauna. Then we forgave you. Even after this miserable mistake of taking calf as worshipping, but still we forgave you. Bani Israel, we forgive you. From after that incident also, even after that terrible mistake also, Allah was very ever forgiving and he forgave them. Dalika. Why he keeps forgiving you, you know, that is a lesson for us. We keep making mistakes every time, but Allah's punishment doesn't come instantly. He keeps waiting. He keeps forgiving you because so that you may become grateful one. Tashkurun. நன்றி உடையவர்களாக நீங்க ஆயிர மாட்டீங்களா? ஒரு நாளாவது, இன்னைக்கு இல்லாட்டி என்னைக்காச்சும் ஒரு நாள் அல்லாஹ்வுக்கு நன்றி உடையவர்களா, அவன் உங்களுக்கு என்னென்ன ஃபேவர்னா செஞ்சிருக்காங்கிறத நினைச்சு பார்க்கக்கூடிய மனுஷங்களா நீ மாறிட மாட்டீங்களா? அந்த காரணத்துக்காக தான் we keep in the forgiving sins. மேலும் நாம் மன்னித்தோம் உங்களை, அதற்கு பின்பும் from after that, அதற்கு பின்னால் நீங்கள் ஆகும் பொருட்டு நன்றி செலுத்துபவர்களா. மேலும் பிறகு நாம் மன்னித்தோம் உங்களை அதற்கு பின்னாலும். எந்த அதன்ங்கிறது எதை குறிக்குது? நீங்கள் ஆகும் பொருட்டு நன்றி செலுத்துபவர்களாக. Even after worshipping the calf, Allah still forgives them. Just like you and I have been daily forgiven, even after making daily mistakes, in the same way, Allah has forgiven this kaum of Bani Israel. Then comes, so now Allah has forgiven them. That is enough for Allah. But Allah doesn't leave with them. Allah wants to correct them. What Allah now does, you see, وَإِذْ آتَيْنَا, then we gave to Musa alayhi salam the book. The book refers to the Torah. Because people make mistake. For example, it happens in the industry. So they have to be given with an instruction manual on how to handle things. They made a mistake because they don't know which is right, which is wrong. So from Allah's point of view, Allah is giving you an instruction manual to follow. Yeah, have this book. Just do what is being prescribed in this book. That is what Musa alayhi salam and his troop was ordered to do. This book will do Furqan in the book and the criterion. Okay. La'allakum tahtadun. Earlier words, Allah is telling you should have become grateful one. First point of becoming, here Allah is saying you should become guided one. Many times people keep complaining to us. Allah hidayat தர மாட்டேங்கிறான் பை. எவ்வளவு பேர் சொல்றாங்க ஹிதாயத் தரணும். இது ரெண்டாவது ஆயத்துல வருது. முதல் ஆயத்துல ஒன்று வருது, தஷ்குருன்னு வந்திருக்கணும். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நீங்க நன்றி செலுத்துறவரா அல்லாஹ்வுக்கு ஆகணும். இது நடந்தா தான் you can become guided one. You keep complaining Allah every time a mistake happens to you or problem comes to you. You put a blame on Allah. Still you expect Allah to guide you. How come it can happen? It is against the logic and strategy that Allah follows. Earlier verse Allah said you have to become a grateful one, remembering the favors that Allah has conferred on you. If you do that, then you will be given an opportunity to understand about the book. Here the directly speaking is about the Torah. If you want to apply for the readers, it is the Quran. This is the same logic that Allah follows with every community. First, people should become grateful for what Allah has given to them. That is what the earlier verse says. The next ayat comes and says that if you do so, then Allah will give you an opportunity to understand about the book. Not just understanding the book, you will have a mechanism or you will have an IQ level to understand a criterion. What do you mean by criterion? You know, this is also another name of the Quran. Furqan is another name for the Quran, which means criterion, which can distinguish absolutely clearly which is right and which is wrong. You will have no doubt at all. So this criterion power, this IQ level, this skill set, Allah will grant you if you understand his book. Only after that the guidance will come. It's not just by doing dua. And மேலும் நாம் எப்பொழுது கொடுத்தோம் மூசா அலைஹிஸ்ஸலாமிற்கு வேதத்தை, மேலும் கிரைட்டீரியன் பகுத்தறிவிக்க கூடியது. இன்னைக்கு எவ்வளவு பேர் பேசுறாங்க பகுத்தறிவு பத்தி, இங்க அல்லாஹ் பேசுறான் பகுத்தறிவிக்க கூடியது. So that you may be. And after that what happens? وَإِذْ قَالَ Musa, and when said Musa alayhi salam, now Musa alayhi salam is now granted with the book. Now the duty of Musa alayhi salam is to take it to the people of Bani Israel and should advise them to follow what is being written in the book. When said Musa alayhi salam to his people, now people who have been worshipping calf is now being addressed by Musa alayhi salam, and Musa alayhi salam is now coming with the Torah and trying to present it before Bani Israel, and he starts his logical statements here. وَإِذْ قَالَ Musa, and when said Musa alayhi salam to his people, O my people, verily you have wronged yourself. Be ittakhiza, you have to write it like by your taking off. Ijla is again calf, which means in the bracket you should write it like for worshipping. Then because you have done this mistake, now Musa alayhi salam gives a solution to this. What you should do, you know, fatubu, then the tawbah, then turn in repentance. பாவமன்னிப்பு இலா பாரியுக்கும். பாரியுக்கும் is ரப் உடைய சூப்பர்லேட்டிவ்னு கூட சொல்லலாம். பாரியுக்கும்னா towards your creator. If you have anything else to write, you can write it what other translators have given. Bariukum, towards your creator, I think, or towards your Lord. Faktulu, so kill yourself, because he is basically, and he is an angry man. You know about Musa alayhi salam. So he goes to an extent to yell at people saying that kill yourself. That is better for you near your Lord than to take worshipping calf. Fataba, then turn in mercy Allah upon you. Then if you do so, then Allah will turn in mercy upon you. Verily he only Tawwabur Rahim is the acceptor. Yes, your creator is okay, then you can have it as creator. And verily he only is the acceptor of repentance, the most. பிறகு கூறிய போது மூசா அலைஹிஸ்ஸலாம் அவரின் சமுதாயத்திற்கு, ஓ சமுதாயமே, நிச்சயமாக நீங்கள் அநீதி இழைத்துக் கொண்டீர்கள், உங்களுக்கு நீங்களே எடுத்துக்கொண்டதின் காரணமாக ஒரு காளை கன்றை. பிறகு திரும்புங்கள், பாவ மன்னிப்பை தேடி அல்லாவின் பக்கம் திரும்புங்கள். ஃபக்துலு, உங்களை நீங்களே கொன்று கொள்ளுங்கள். கொல்லுங்கள் உங்கள் உயிர்களை, அதுவே மகத்தானது, சிறந்தது. அது அவனுடைய இறைவனிடத்தில். Which means rather to doing this, you could have better die. That is what in an angry tone he is speaking. Fataba, then he turned in mercy Allah upon you. He will, this he refers to Allah upon you. Verily he only is acceptor of repentance. பிறகு அவன் திரும்பக்கூடும், உங்களை மன்னித்தான், அவன் மிக மன்னிப்பவன், பெரும் கிருபையாளன்.